Just we thought it was a good idea to round up with the entire panel, and maybe could you join us as well? Yes, that'd be great. So we get the and where's Gali from KPMG? Is she still here? Yeah, could you come as well? Thank you. I'm confused, and I just wanted to take these 10 minutes we have left to clarify a couple of things. Just please take a stand over there. I'll keep running around. But over to you first. Who's in the room? Who's working for an organization that has already introduced Agile in some sort of form? Hands up. Okay. For those who haven't or who aren't working in an organization, after hearing all this, are you convinced that Agile should be introduced in your organization? Who thinks yes? Okay. Who? Can I get one of the people who said no just now? Who doesn't think Agile would solve or should be introduced in his or her organization? Can I quickly get one? You don't have to say where you work. Anyone?
So the idea is to have a critical discussion, so please feel free to raise your voice.
Yep, here we go. I'm not going to give you the microphone.
Sorry. One of the experiences I have is you're getting very close to the customer, being agile. Sometimes, yeah, well, it's nice to work 2 years on a project and then confront the customer with your project.
Is that the reason you would say it doesn't have to be agile?
Sometimes it's you listen. It's difficult to know exactly to which customer to listen. Is it the most profitable one, or so? It's how do you deal with that?
How do you? Okay, too close to the customer. That's one of the issues of Agile. Any other issues that come up when you think about how Agile could be introduced? Anyone working for a ministry? Except for you? Any others? No? Public sector in general? Hands up? Yes, over there. Could I ask you quickly your insight on Agile in your profession?
Well, we're just starting with Agile, work for the Dutch IRS. We work with Agile Scrum teams, but we are at the beginning of developing Agile in the whole organization.
Why did you start? What's the urgency?
That's a good question.
Is it top down?
No, I think it's both. Yeah.
Thank you. One more over there. There you go.
Oh, the DX2 is working with Agile, but I don't know why. So
you don't know why?
I don't know why.
Okay. Do you like it?
Yeah, that's why I'm here. So I don't know. I didn't know too much about Agile. So
okay.
I must think it over when I'm back at my workplace. So let's sink in and see what we can do with it.
Okay. Who you work for?
For BZK.
Okay. Ministry of Internal Affairs. Yeah. Thank you. There's more. Hang on. And Marky, can I get the picture?
I think it can be very useful for incubators.
Why?
It's a small group still, although relatively in Holland it's an interesting group. Well, they have the same kind of problems. They have to start with something and they don't know what lays ahead, so they have to incrementally bring it up.
But haven't they done that the whole time? I mean, which incubator has used waterfall projects?
Well, I'm not, I don't detail.
Okay.
I think it's going to be very useful.
Because we heard in the beginning that Chris said, basically we've spent 40 plus or 50 plus years doing the wrong thing, right? I mean, we basically ignored the fact that we moved from Fordism into something that is called a knowledge society with different types of workers, different types of teams, and we've been sitting still, right? Sort of, we haven't picked up until the 90s the kind of systems that we could have taken up. Now we're 2014, we're still talking about starting Agile. What went wrong?
I think to some extent society has changed. So the whole world has
Since the 90s or since 2000?
since the 90s. So if you look at the past 10 years, there's a lot of dynamism on how society is changing, but also how technology is changing and enabling.
So we need 25 years to find out, okay, so something's changing and let's try something else?
Apparently.
Okay. Hang on a sec. I just want to share this picture with you because I like the analogy of life as an egg. But my question basically is, do we really want to let nature take its course just here in terms of management? I used to work for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, for example. If I think about what will happen at Ministry of Foreign Affairs the moment you don't get, well, you don't apply pressure in some sort of form, and you just let all these chicken spread around, what kind of organization would you get? And how would you be able to tell that to the taxpayer and saying, oh no, you know, we have all these chicken running around and this is great, right? So my confusion is because on the one hand, you're saying, let us admit that mistakes can be made. And on the other hand, you're saying, let's synchronize as with the robot.
I fully agree. Mistakes need to be
Need to be made. Okay, so there is some sort of friction in Agile between chaos and synchronicity. Yes or no?
No, there's nothing. You can still fail and make mistakes and do it synchronously. So for me, there's nothing wrong with if you fail, because if you fail, you should learn.
But you have to make them at the same time.
No, first you fail, then you learn nothing because of that.
And how do you explain that to the taxpayer?
Well, with Agile, you fail more quickly, and you find out when you still have time to correct it, versus with Waterfall, you fail at the end, and there's no going back.
How easy is that to communicate to people at the ministry?
Well, difficult, I think, because it's difficult to communicate. Well, maybe if you can see, we can see mistakes sooner, and we can correct them. That might go, but we can say we can make a mistake, but we can always make them once. Even that is difficult to explain. So we.
So we rather make big mistakes later on, at the moment.
And that was exactly my point, because what you see, and a government is not unique in that, but we don't want to make mistakes. So we say let's not tell anybody, or we don't even know, and we fail big time. So we only have to tell the people once. If you do it small, you can ideally deliver value faster, but also if you fail fast, you didn't spend all the taxpayers' money. You can say we failed and we only spent, I don't know, 1 million instead of 50 million.
Are there examples that this has been tried beyond, let's say, the Philips and the IT sector?
You can say no. Not that I know of, but in the public sector then.
Not that I know, no.
No? Anyone in the room? Anyone who can? Organizations, maybe things you've read in the newspaper, small things that went wrong that people went public with and said, sorry, Betuline, Fira, no, smaller projects than that. How are you dealing with this? And in terms of the... Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry.
I work for ING, and before we got to scaling Agile here in the Netherlands, we looked at a way of using Agile, but not scaling it, as in the framework. And after 9 months, we realized this is not the right way of going. It's not going to deliver the benefit. We stopped, looked at how much has been spent, what we should do better, learned lessons, and started scaling. And that was a similar example.
Did you write a press release on what didn't work?
No, but internally it was recognized, what was invested, the whys, and what we'd learned about it.
And if you'd put that in the public sector, you'd have to write a press release, right?
yes,
What you put in there?
we try to send a good message that some things were wrong, but
Have you tried it?
yes, well, there's a good example of the Secretary Wiebes. He tried for the first time to explain to the Parliament that we have to choose things and we cannot prolong every project, and we have to make choices. He is the first who did it, and maybe that we are going to change a little now. So.
And based on the report you've written, what is the follow-up steps, and how does it relate to the kind of insights we've learned this evening?
Well, the report isn't written yet, but they're going to change things. Well, the advice is smaller projects, faster, things like that. But well, the parliament still asks us to make the big projects, the large IT.
We are the taxpayers. If we start changing, then we will start accepting also information if it's brought up, the transparency and visibility.
The taxpayers, and looking at you, maybe sort of. Yeah, no. More from KPMG. What is the kind of trends you see in terms of accounting, in terms of accountability? I mean, that is it about, right?
Yeah. So transparency is going to be the way of working moving forward.
And Agile can play a part.
A big part. It shows where the problems are very fast, and that's why people don't like it.
They don't like it. That's not going to help.
No, they need to admit first that they will make mistakes, and not everything is perfect the first time. As soon as you go past that, it'll get easier.
So showcase projects like the Center for Excellence could help. Is that the way sort of things change over time?
I think yes. If you had a look at the movie, there's a few examples, and more hopefully will follow. So I think that could be a good way to go forward.
Who after tonight will take a step into introducing Agile in a small bit of their own organization? There was half a hand? I saw half a hand. No, that was not a hand. Okay, that was not a hand. Why not? Because you're already doing it, or?
Yes, we are doing it, and we are building a center of excellence.
Which organization, if you don't mind?
Finance.
The tax department. On what level? Because that was a question. It's not at the
Sponsored by the CIO, so top level.
top level, top down. It wasn't the let's say the desk officers doing it.
And it's supported by the top, so it's just as Edgar said. Yeah.
And you're working in a building that leaks.
Not that I know of.
So that's not a precondition. Okay, that's good. Any last thoughts from the panel? No? One more?
In scaling Agile, what has been your experience in with regards to involving infrastructure, and what kind of advice would you have for me, our organization is about to start the transformation, including infrastructure?
I'd give the word to Edgar. That's firsthand I can talk about.
Yeah, get them involved as soon as possible. First, they're part and parcel of it. Because first of all, if you work on software, it's easier to fit in an agile environment than if it's infrastructure. But at the same time, it's also easy for infrastructure, because if they know, example that Kim gave on the big room planning, the infrastructure guys are in, because if they know that in 6 sprints from today I need 20 kilos of hardware and this much bandwidth, then they can already start ordering and preparing that. So that's where they create the runway for the teams to start developing on that. So for me, they, in our company, like architecture and infrastructure, they're part and parcel of the total project organization.
What's that architectural runway? So in the leading safe or in skilled agile framework, you have an architectural runway, and the architect has a very key role in looking ahead, making sure that the environment is agile, can support the agile way of developing, but also what needs to be in place, and how do you get rid of legacy, and how do you look forward, and yeah.
It's maybe one of the. I'm going to use your organization to put on a quote. Changing routines. We actually have a poster of KPMG on our wall saying, "Innovation never comes easy. Full stop. Never. Full stop. You have to fight for it every day." And I think that is one of the things that's been displayed today as well. And I like your comment at the end saying, "Get involved, get people involved," is one of the things I think we as the Agile for Excellence initiative will try to do within the university with outside stakeholders and making sure that outside in and inside out is really the way forward. I'm going to give the word to Chris for rounding up because we have another 40 seconds before we start. Inviting you for a reception. Thank you for your attention.
Great. Thanks a lot, Uri. Thanks to the speakers and the facilitators. Thanks a lot. Yeah, I would like to thank for your attendance, numerous attendance, and also the fun we had upstairs during the workshops and so on. Enjoy your drinks, and I would pretty much also like to give a round of applause to my team, being Vivienne Meding, being Marki, Vivienne, Janne Polman, sitting in the back, the KBK students, and Ulrich Manz and Gidon Chinchon. Thank you very much. So yeah, why you go back home and why you enjoy your drinks, you might have a look at this program flyer and just think of these guiding questions. These are questions we won't be able to answer today or tomorrow or within the next 2 weeks, but perhaps there's like a bit of an idea that appears in your heads while enjoying your glass of wine or something. And if you pick up on this idea at some time, please just feel free to send us a message and get back to us in order to keep this discussion going together with practitioners, together with academia, and let's improve knowledge work and project work for this knowledge society. Yeah? Okay, thank you very much. So as mentioned in my presentation, we are looking for partners, we are looking for sponsors in course of this initiative and for an advisory board. Feel free to get in touch with us. Thanks a lot and enjoy your drinks.